What it do, golf fans? Welcome back to Turn Dollars Golf Podcast. This is just Liam. I'd like to start off with a bit of a sorry. Yesterday being Memorial Day, it made it really tough to record a podcast. So you're probably getting this midday Monday or Tuesday morning at that point. You'll also notice I am running this one solo. Jack is obviously busy as well with Memorial Day. The holiday made it a bit tough. But I wanted to make sure we got a quick podcast out to you guys. So I won't spend too much time last week on Charles Schwab. Obviously, the winner was Ben Griffin. It was a very impressive 18th hole specifically, where Matty Schmidt chipped in on 18 to get to 11 under to therefore push Ben Griffin to have to make the putt that he did to not force a playoff. It was overall a pretty good week, all things considered, specifically for Jack. He picked a lot of guys that ended up doing really well. Um, but yeah, winner Ben Griffin, notable guys to miss the cut: Maverick McNeely, Tom Hoagie, Kevin Kisner, Jack's favorite, Michael Block. I'm being sarcastic. Daniel Berger, Davis Thompson, Neil Shipley, and more. But again, not the strongest field of golfers that missed the cut outside of probably Daniel Berger. Some of the best low price plays that we were kind of all over. Jack and I were both all over Rio Hisasune. He finished T6. I was high on Harry Hall. He also finished T6. Ben Griffin obviously won, who Jack was high on. And then I was high on Lucas Glover, who finished T22. Our big misses were Daniel Berger and Aaron Rye. Um, so overall, not the worst week. On the DFS side, Jack had Tommy Fleetwood, JT Poston, Harris English, Eric Cole, Rio Itsasune, Sammy Yalamaki. I know Sammy missed the cut. I obviously know, I think Eric Cole missed the cut as well. Um, I don't know on the rest of them, but overall, he had a much better week than I did. On my DraftKings, I had Scotty Scheffler T4, Harry Hall T6, Ryan Gerard T73, Rio Hasasune T6, and then Neil Shipley and Brian Campbell both missed the cut. Jack's Vandal was decent. He had Spieth, JT Poston, Ben Griffin, so he took the winner there. Eric Cole, Rio Hasasune, Sammy Valimaki. So obviously he did good there too because he took the winner. And Rio was also top six. For my FanDuel, it was less good. I had Berger, Valimaki, and Campbell all missed the cut. But then I had Scotty and Rio both finished top six. And then Ryan Gerard, who finished T73. Not my best week on the DFS side, but it happens. On the betting side, Jack was obviously Scotty heavy. So he had Scotty to finish top seven at minus 190. That was a win. He had Speed to finish top 30. That was a loss. JT Poston top 40 was a win. Rio top 40 was a win. Sammy Valimaki top 40 was a loss. Scotty top 20 in round one was a win, and Scotty top 10 in round one was a loss. So all in, he had four wins and three losses. That ended up adding up to a positive 0.24 units this past week, which don't quote me, puts him right around, I think, 11 and a half units up for the year. And then as far as on my end goes, I had Scotty Scheffler top 20 in round one, win. Daniel Berger top 20, loss. Ryan Gerard top 40, loss. Ben Griffin over Keith Mitchell, great play in retrospect, win. And then Daniel Berger over Jordan Spieth. Neither played well, but Spieth played slightly better than Berger. Overall, two wins, three losses. Lost 1.29 units on the week. I am now up 19.7 units on the year. That is my worst betting week in 8 weeks, which is kind of crazy. And all I lost was 1.29 units. So it was pretty good sequence there for a while where I was doing a good job gaining a bunch of units. And we'll get back on our horse there. As far as wild cards go, Jack's wild card was Scotty top five in round one at plus 250. That was a loss. He finished T20. And then my wild card was Harry Hall top 20 at plus 230. That was a winner. He finished T6. So that was a nice one to see. I felt good knowing that his putter could kind of carry him last past week. I am now 11 and 18 on wild cards. So I'm still doing pretty good as far as the sequence goes. Jack's winners for this past week are all without Scotty. Again, remember that. But he took JT Poston, who at 30 to 1 finished T36. He had Ryo Hisasune at 80 to 1, who finished T6. And then he had Ben Griffin at 45 to 1, who won regardless of Scotty in the field. So Jack cashed on a nice 45 to 1 winner. That now marks our sixth winner this year. Might be our sixth winner. If not, it's at least our fifth. On my winners, I took Scotty Scheffler at 2.6 to 1, who finished T4. I had Daniel Berger at 24 to 1, who missed the cut. And then I had Ryan Gerard at 75 to 1, who finished T73. So, not my best week. Jack had a really good week. But we'll cruise onward and we will make our way to the Memorial at Muirfield Village. Is a par 72 totaling about 7,500 yards. This course is a T2 green machine. It is the second toughest course on tour when it comes to strokes gained tee to green. Generally, the best players in terms of overall form tend to perform best in this event. Stars tend to shine. Those that are in the best form, just in terms of like the Daniel Bergers, the Seb Strakas, usually end up doing quite well here. This is an elevated event, so there's only 72 golfers, but there is still a cut this week. So it's going to be top 50 in ties is going to be the marker to stay above. Overall, again, it's all about just tee to green play here. You need to be consistent all across the board. So that is kind of the main priority on this front. I'll quickly highlight some names. Top three guys are all above 10K. So it's Scotty Scheffler at 13,300, Xander Schauffele at 10.9, and then Justin Thomas at 10.1. So Scotty's always a great option if you can afford him. His past three starts here in Memorial, he's got a win in 2 third places. In those 3 starts, he's gained nearly 43 strokes gained tee to green, which is ridiculous. So he's going to be a good option this week. If you can fit him in at 13.3, he's probably the guy to go with. It's just a question of getting to him. It's just always a challenge. So then we go to Xander Schauffele at 10.9. He's close. He played meh at the PGA. He lost actually 2.5 strokes on approach, which is not common for Xander Schauffele. But he's figuring out the putter, and he's got really good history here at Muirfield Village. He's finished outside of the top 20, I think, just one time here in his last 8 starts. So I don't hate the idea of going to Xander Schauffele. I think Scotty's the preferred choice still for me. Then you go to Justin Thomas, who won here in 2020. It was the Workday Open at the time. When you go back through and look at the history of this event, in 2020, this is still one of the first events after COVID. So they played this event 2 weeks in a row. One week as the Memorial, 1 week as the Workday Open. So Justin won here when it was the Workday Open. But since the 2020 season, they actually did a pretty big remodel at Muirfield Village. And since then, he's lost approximately 14 strokes gained putting here in those 3 starts he's had here since that win. He also doesn't have a finish inside of the top 30 with those 3 starts either. And with the putting woes, I'm kind of less sold on him as opposed to Xander or Scotty. I think just with the fact that he doesn't have the best form here, it is interesting. He also didn't do well at the PGA where he missed the cut. He showed flashes, but I think it's just, I understand going to JT and thinking he's going to be all right, but it's just not the most confident I've been on him. Into the 9K range we go. It's an interesting one for sure. We have Colin Morikawa down to Hideki Matsuyama. It's only, I think, 6 guys. So I'll highlight a few of them here. Corey Connors is at 9,100. He's ranked 2nd overall in the past 36 rounds in strokes gained tee to green, only behind Scotty. He's made the cut here in 5 of his last 6 starts. He's got 3 top 20 finishes. In his recent form, he's also gained with the putter in 6 of 9 starts, which if you know anything about Corey Connors, he generally is not that great of a putter. So if he's figuring out the putter, I like his chances this week. I think he's a very good option to get to at 9,100. Then you have Patrick Cantlay, who's really good here at Muirfield Village. He's won here two times, has three other top tens, but he's also lost on strokes gained around the green in each of his last six starts. He's lost with the putter in three of his last five. He doesn't have great form coming in. Doesn't mean he can't find it here. This is probably a great course for him to find this form. But needless to say, I'm a little scared of Cantlay considering his price at 9,500. He's like the fifth most expensive golfer in the field. So I'm a little worried about relying on him this week with this event. But I understand if you do because of his history here. Last guy I'll mention in this range is Ludwig Gobert. He's lost strokes gained approach in each of his last three starts and five of his last seven. He also has lost with the putter in four of his last six. Basically, since his win at the Genesis in February, he's only had one other decent finish, and it was a T7 at the Masters, where he played really well for like a day and a half and then just kind of coasted to a T7. His form has just not been that great, and I would not want to rely on him for any of that. So I would avoid Ludwig. I think Fleetwood will also be a good option in this range. He's going to be kind of a safe, consistent. You're going to get it right around a T20-ish range for Fleetwood. Um, but I like the upsides of Connors most in this range. Down to the 8K range we go. We've got Victor Hovland down to Keegan Bradley. So the first name I'm going to mention in here is Shane Lowry. I'm very high on Shane this week. He ranks third in the field in the past 36 rounds in strokes gained tee to green. He's basically been a tee to green monster at every event he's played in the past year. I don't really see that changing this week. He's also got great history here. He's got three top 15s and six cuts in eight starts. So he plays well here all the time, and this is definitely a Shane Lowry type of event. All of the metrics really look good for Lowry this week. Every time I see him in the rankings, it's like Shane Lowry is going to be really good here at Muirfield Village. I kind of agree. I mean, the stats say it, so I'm all over it. So my first choice in this range automatically is Shane Lowry. Then we get Daniel Berger, who's next on the list. I've kind of been all over Daniel Berger each of the last like 10 or 12 weeks. One thing has kind of changed as of recent with him. He's been absolutely brutal with the putter. He's lost nearly 10 at least 10 strokes gained putting combined in all of his last four starts. His tee to green play will also likely continue to crush it as he's gained in seven of his last eight tee to green play like stretches. When he plays, he gains tee to green basically. And he ranks sixth in the field in strokes gained tee to green. But his putter is the question. If he makes it to the weekend, he tends to average out his putter. But it's just if he has a bad putting performance on Thursday or Friday, then we get what we had at the Charles Schwab, where he doesn't make it to the weekend. So I think Daniel Berger is now just inherently a little bit riskier now that his putter is starting to struggle some. The other guy I will mention in this range is Denny McCarthy. He actually lost here in a playoff 2 years back, but he seems to just love this course. He puts the lights out here. In his last two starts, he's gained over 18 strokes gained putting. Um, uh, his off the tee is a bit of a challenge here. He generally does lose off the tee here. But I think he's going to be a great top like 35 candidate this week, considering he's basically done that in four of his last five starts here. So he's going to knock down a T35, maybe a T40 if he's having a rough day. But I think he's a great option to get to. All right. That was I think I just went through the 8K range and I said 7K at the start, and I'm so sorry. But Denny is 7,900. I'm going to look through the rest of these 7K guys. Um, First or the second guy on this in the 7K list after Denny is going to be Aaron Rye. He is a tee to green monster as well. He missed the cut last week at the Charles Schwab, but prior to that, he had basically been a commonplace between the finishing positions of T18 and T35. His putter is always a risk, so you kind of got to keep that in mind if you're going to rely on him. But based on stats and course fit, uh, maybe Denny and Aaron Rye are probably the top two guys in this field, especially in the 7K range. So I think they are both good options. If you want to go in the lower 7K option, I actually think Alex Noren is a pretty good choice. He's still coming off of injury, so there's not a lot of data on him. He's fully healthy, let's be clear. But he was out for at least 6 or 7 months at one point. Prior to him losing, going out for the year, though, he had gained an approach in six straight. He gained with the putter in five of the last six. He's a good golfer. If he's healthy, he's way better than a $7,400 price tag. And I think he's already kind of looped back into form. He made the cut a few weeks back, played really well. So I think 7,400 is a solid price to go back to if you're not worried about the injury with Alex Noren. Last name I'll mention is Andrew Novak. Outside of a miscut at the PGA Championship, which is a major, so I'm not overly concerned about it. He's got five straight T17 finishes. He's also gained tee to green in each of those five finishes, and although his putter can be hit or miss, it's not always perfect. He's generally a pretty good putter. I anticipate that Andrew Novak might be getting a win here soon. Now, is it going to be at the John Deere potentially when the time comes? Maybe, but it could also be in an event like this in the Memorial. I could totally see that. So I think he's absolutely essential at 7,100. If you, especially if you go with like a Scotty, he is going to be somebody very important to get to. The 6K range, I mean, you have Christian Bezuidenhout out at 6,900. He's a good choice, a great putter. His approach play has been hit and miss. He's not my first choice here, but I do like him in terms of this grouping. But I will mention Bud Cauley. He played himself into this event through basically some of the craziest finishes he's had in the last like 7 weeks. He's got four top 10 finishes, two other top 40s, and then a T72 at the PGA Championship, where again he made the cut. He didn't play good on the weekends, but he made the cut. And then during those six starts, not including the major, he's gained in all statistical strokes gained categories outside of around the green. That is going to mesh quite well with Muirfield Village. Um, all Bud Colley's really got to do is get top 50. I think that's going to be pretty easy for him. I could easily see a top 40 for Bud Cauley this week, assuming he just plays middling levels of golf. Outside of that, not a ton of guys I really want to highlight in this range. Jack is usually all over Thomas Dietrich, but his form has been really up and down. So I do not really want to rely on him. But it is, again, something I understand. If you want a really cheap option, he's about 6,600. So he's a valid option to get to at that point. All right. Jack does not have a DraftKings or a FanDuel lineup in yet. He might actually. Let me please hold. Does have bets. He's got a lot of them, some of them better than others in terms of ratings, but I will quickly go through all of them. So first one he has is Eric Cole to have a top 40 finish at minus 200. He's got Siwoo Kim to finish over Daniel Berger at plus 105. He's got Jordan Spieth over Tony Finau at minus 110. He's got Scotty Scheffler to finish top 20 in round one at minus 210. He's got Xander Schauffele to finish top 20 at plus 100. He's got Patrick Cantlay to finish top 20 at minus 138. He's got Jordan Spieth top 30 at minus 170. He's got Siwoo Kim top 30 at minus 210. He's got JJ Spawn to finish top 30 at minus 143. And then he's got Eric Cole to finish top 40 at minus 200. I am looking through. I did just find his lineups. For his DraftKings, Jack went top heavy. He has got Xander Schauffele at 10,900. He's got Patrick Cantlay at 9,500. He's got Siwoo Kim at 8,300. JT Poston at 7,600. Ricky Fowler at 7,000 and Eric Cole at 6,600. On FanDuel, lineup looks pretty similar. He's got Xander Schauffele at 12,100, Patrick Cantlay at 11,300, Siwoo Kim at 10,200, Sam Burns. That's a risky choice. Sam Burns has not gained on approach in 13 starts, by the way, but he's gained with the putter in like 12 of those 13 starts. Sam Burns is 9,900. Ricky Fowler is 8,800, and then Eric Cole again at 7,700. So those are Jack's. Sorry if that was kind of backwards. I did not realize that he had it that way. Um, my DraftKings and FanDuel lineup, I am a little top heavy as well. I took Scotty Scheffler in both. I'll tell you right now. So in DraftKings, I have Scotty Scheffler, Shane Lowry, Alex Noren, Andrew Novak, Bud Cauley, and then Ryan Gerard, who I also didn't really talk about in the 8K, in the 6K range, but I do like. For FanDuel, I have Scotty Scheffler, Shane Lowry, Denny McCarthy, Aaron Rye, Brian Harmon, and Andrew Novak. So I feel pretty good about all of those. My bets, I have six this week. I have Bud Cauley top 30 at plus 105. I have Shane Lowry over Ludwig Gobert at plus 100. I took the opposite side of the Siwoo Kim Daniel Berger play. I actually think Berger over Siwoo Kim at minus 120. I have Corey Connors over Victor Hovland at minus 110. I have Sung J M to lose to Denny McCarthy at minus 110. So I guess Denny over Sung J M is the best way to describe that. And then I have Ludwig Gobert to finish T20 or worse this week at minus 120. I do not see winners for Jack at all. So the only winners you're getting this week are Shane Lowry, 28 to 1, Corey Connors, 28 to 1, and Andrew Novak at 80 to 1. I'm going to give Jack Seb Straka because I want to. Um, and I just won't hold it to him because that was one of the guys I wanted to use. I'll also give him Cantlay because it seems like he likes him. So Patrick Cantlay. And Ricky Fowler. There you go. If Fowler wins now, he's going to be stoked. The only wild card this week is the wild card that I have. Seb Straka, top 10 at plus 275. And that is the Memorial. I apologize. Again, I know it's kind of a weird week the way this all fell. And I know I went through this all really fast. But just the way that the week kind of falls with Memorial Day weekend makes it really tough. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled Jack and I, RBC Canadian, shooting the shit. You guys will be stuck with us all over again. So with that, we'll leave you to it. Have a good time betting, and we will see you next time. Deuces.